Hey everyone, and welcome to another video here on the channel. Today I want to give you guys my review of the Black Ops 6 multiplayer, now that it has been out for almost 2 weeks now. I am currently Prestige 1, about to be Prestige 2, so I have put quite a few hours into the game to get a grasp on everything. And I'm going to give my thoughts on the good, the bad, and the very ugly within Black Ops 6. So let's first talk about the good. The gunplay feels nice. It feels satisfying to get kills in this game, which is what you want when you're making a shooter. That's the most important thing. The weapon balance is not perfect. I think snipers feel a little bit off still. You're pretty much required to run as much flinch resistance as possible, because if you don't, anytime you get shot while trying to snipe, it's as if you just got blindsided by an NFL linebacker. The flinch is so bad that I actually flinch in real life when I get shot in the game. Jokes aside, I would actually prefer it this way as opposed to Cold War, where there was no flinch on the snipers. I think that's overkill, but I think a slight reduction to flinch is needed. And another thing with snipers, the weird Black Ops 1 style aiming idle sway that kicks in the moment you aim down the sights needs to be adjusted as well. You basically have to run a certain laser attachment in order to make them somewhat accurate, which shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't have to run a certain attachment to make the gun usable. Shotguns, I think, are also still underperforming. I think the sprint to fire time on the shotguns needs to be improved by a lot. They just feel extremely clunky. How you can run into someone and then it takes a whole half second before you can actually get the gun up and fire it. Shotguns should have the best sprint to fire time in the entire game, because you have to be sprinting a lot when using a shotgun. You can't just sit somewhere and hold an angle or head glitch with a shotgun because it's only usable up close. The entire playstyle of a shotgun is to run to the enemy's face, and right now when you do that, you just get caught in the awkward sprint to fire delay way too often. The only way I was able to make shotguns work decently was to just spam the slide mechanic with the slide to fire speed attachments, because that made it faster than just stopping to fire from a regular sprint did. They also tried something different this year with melee weapons. Melee weapons are now in their own slot, so they don't take up a primary or secondary weapon, so you're always going to have a melee weapon on you. And unfortunately, the melee weapons just flat out fucking suck. In a game with cracked out movement, being able to shoot your gun while diving and sliding, for some reason your character just can't swing a melee weapon to save his life. It's definitely the worst feeling melee since BO2, not even joking. And I haven't seen anyone else talking about this yet, which is very concerning. But when you get shot while holding a melee weapon out, it's as if you get stunned. Your character stops sprinting, and you get flashed like you get shot with frangible bullets in previous COD games. Combined with the fact that the weapons have almost zero lunge to them with slow, clunky animations, and you get some of the worst melee in COD history. And it feels even worse coming off of Modern Warfare 3, where they did such a good job with making fun and unique melee weapons with different mechanics to them. In this game, you can't even get close to people to knife them, because the moment you get hit, you just freeze in place and you can't move and you're dead. I don't know if that's an intentional mechanic that they put in or just a bug, but whatever it is, it needs to be taken out immediately because it's super frustrating. Moving on to kill streaks, I'm going to put these in the meh column. Kill streaks are an area in Call of Duty that hasn't seen much innovation at all. Every year we get the same exact kill streaks with just a different coat of paint or a different name. Chopper Gunner, AC-130, Attack Chopper, Airstrike, UAV. It's always the same cookie cutter streaks. And I'm not mad about them reusing the same streaks. The Chopper Gunner and Dreadnought, which is the AC-130 this year, feel great. I think this is actually the most powerful Chopper Gunner we've gotten since Black Ops 1 with how long it lasts and how destructive it is. But it's all the other kill streaks which just don't feel exciting to get. They feel very ass. The regular Attack Chopper completely fucking sucks. The Hellstorm missile costs like 1200 score for some reason when you get like 2 kills with it. The AGR feels like I'm controlling the one old snail with the torch from SpongeBob with how slow it is, and the controls just feel very shit on PC with it also. The carpet bombing streak gets the same amount of kills as the napalm strike that costs way less score. The sentry gun has the reaction time of a drunken grandpa before it finally spins up the barrel and starts shooting at the target it's aiming at. 80% of the streaks in the game just need buffs. Oh, and why is the homing knife from the campaign not a kill streak? It would fit in perfect as like a 550 or so score streak that's a little bit worse than the Archangel rocket launcher, but better than the RCXD. It would be like a hunter-killer drone that you can control, and it's just a fun new feature in the game entirely. It was really fun to use it in the campaign, but they don't put it in the multiplayer. I don't know why. Or attack dogs. Why don't we have attack dogs as a streak either? We're missing a super good AI-controlled streak like we've always had in the past COD games. The strategic bomber streak would be nice if it made like 4 passes over the map so you can get multiple kills, because what happens a lot of the time is the enemies are either watching a kill cam or have spawn protection because of how fast the game plays, where people are just dying non-stop. So the strategic bomber streak ends up getting hardly any kills at all. And keep in mind, that is a 1300 score streak. Now, if it made multiple passes over the map that kept bombing the entire map almost, then it would be very much worth it, because you kill the enemies multiple times and it would offer some pressure to them. You guys remember the Rolling Thunder streak from Black Ops 1 when it was called in and just wiped out the entire team half the time? I swear back in the day when someone called in that carpet bombing streak, it would kill everyone on the enemy team almost always. There was always a massive feed when it was called in. The most I've seen the strategic bomber streak get in Black Ops 6 is 2 kills, and that's on Nuketown, one of the smallest maps in the game. And another note about the kill streaks too, why does it take so long to call them in? Again, we can slide, run, and die sideways while shooting our gun, but taking out the little phone to press a button to call a UAV in takes like 4 seconds for some reason before you can bring up and fire your weapon again. Or placing down a sentry gun for some reason, and this is actually the case for like the past 4 CODs. Why does placing down a sentry gun take longer than building a desk from IKEA? Like, Jesus Christ. The amount of times I've gotten killed while placing down a sentry only for the sentry to then place down and kill them for revenge is annoying. It's an extremely fast-paced game paired with slow animations. It doesn't match, I don't get it. Black Ops 1 and 2 had a million times faster animations for calling in streaks, especially UAVs. And if I remember correctly, in Modern Warfare 3, they actually increased the speed that you call in a UAV in the life cycle, but for some reason they didn't get brought over this game. Now let's talk about the maps. The maps in Black Ops 6 are just not good. The only ones that I genuinely like are Payback, Skyline, Subsonic, Rewind, and Nuketown, which that's not even a new map, so that doesn't even count. Every other map is awful to meh. Red Card feels like it's a Modern Warfare 2019 map in its design, and all of the maps have that Treyarch art style to them. They are all pretty vibrant in their color palettes, and they're by no means ugly to look at. That's not the problem. It's just that they don't play that well and aren't really all that memorable. And I can't really give one exact reason for why that is. I think it's just a mixture of a bunch of different aspects. It's the way that modern COD players play, especially with SBMM. It's the movement being so fast-paced that there's virtually no downtime to do anything. You kill one person and try to get a reload in, and you're praying that someone doesn't booty slide around the corner and kill you in that time. And it's also partially the map and game design itself. All of those things are to blame for the maps playing poorly, I think. And it would actually be interesting to see, as an experiment, if you took out the Omni movement and put these maps to the test with the classic COD movement, you know, no tac sprint, no sliding, and none of that, if they would play better and a bit slower pace compared to how they play now. Now I want to get into the most ugly feature that I've ever seen in a COD game, though. So they have these perk specialties in Black Ops 6, where if you run 3 perks of a certain class or color, you get a bonus. One of them in particular is just completely fucking busted and has been since the beta, and they did absolutely nothing to change it for the launch of the game. And I said it was going to be a problem in my beta video. The Recon bonus lets you see every person on the enemy team through the walls for 2 seconds when you spawn in, and it gives you high alert at the same time. Now I know they just nerfed it to 1.5 seconds instead of 2 seconds yesterday, and they do have more plans to change it going forward, but why in the ever-living fuck was this even a thought to add in a first-person shooter game where positioning and flanking are a massive part of the game? Free wall hacks off spawn! And guess what? There's no counter to any of this. There's no perks to counter it, so you can't avoid people using it. It's especially an issue on the smaller maps too, where combined with the paper-thin walls in this game, you can just get wall banged off of spawn. I cannot tell you how many times I was playing where I died and I thought to myself, how the hell did this guy know I was there? Only to watch the kill cam and watch my character get outlined through the wall, so the guy just knows exactly where I'm going to pop around the corner and pre-aims and pre-fires the shit out of me. Or on Nuketown, I like to use my shotgun loadout, and with a shotgun on Nuketown, what I like to do is go into the enemy spawn and just hold out in their house and play a game of defend the house, so when they try to run through it, I just blast them with the shotgun. And it's really the only way you can play a shotgun on Nuketown anyways, because the house engagements are the closest of combat you will get. But the amount of times where I'd be sitting in the house, and all of a sudden I'm getting shot through the fucking wall by a guy that just spawned in is ridiculous, and the only reason he knows where I'm at is because he spawns in and just sees my outline through the wall. It is one of the worst mechanics they have ever introduced to a COD game, dare I say, a first-person shooter game in the history of FPS, and they need to take it out immediately. And I can't believe the community has been so brain-rotted that I actually see people defending this perk.
Oh, well, actually, it helps to stop spawn camping. It's actually a good thing. Maybe you just shouldn't be in the enemy spawn then. Maybe you shouldn't spawn camp.
No, it doesn't help with spawn camping. You really think your little 2 seconds of wall hacks will help you against a coordinated team that knows how to hold the enemy spawn down? What it kills is proper flanking and stealth gameplay. You can sneak around the enemy team perfectly, but one guy spawning in and looking around can spot you through the wall and immediately know you are there, fucking over your flank route. Or even the high alert perk. You look at someone from behind them and they instantly just know you are there. High alert I've always thought was a bogus perk, but at least it had a counter back then up until now, because Recon has no counter. It took high alert, an already annoying ass perk, and made it a million times worse. with the addition of the stupid wall hacks. Just remove it altogether and go back to the drawing board and draw something else up with it. Make the Recon specialty entirely different. Maybe change it to a minimap ping instead of full-on wall hacks off spawn. I don't know, but you gotta do something because it's not good. It's completely ruining the game. Lastly, I want to talk about the technical issues with Black Ops 6. I don't know why, but this game runs so much worse than the previous 3 COD games. Modern Warfare 3, I get like 100 FPS at almost max settings in multiplayer. Black Ops 6, I had to go in and tone down almost all of my settings, normal textures, all that stuff. And I still get anywhere from 100 to 120 FPS on average. And on Low Town, it's even worse. That map, I get like 90 FPS at times, just completely unoptimized. That's with a 3080 Ti and an i9 9900K CPU. I know my CPU is getting older, but games like this should not be this demanding. We're not talking about trying to run 4K maxed out Cyberpunk with full-on ray tracing here. It's fucking Call of Duty at normal settings. It's 12 players on a static map in a game that hasn't improved graphically since MW 2019. And that game also still looks and runs better than the new COD game, so I don't know what's going on there. The core gameplay of Black Ops 6 is there, and I also like the addition of Classic Prestige again. That was a very good change. It's fun going through the Prestiges again. It's just, right now, it's very rough around the edges with things that should be easily fixable. In the future seasons, once we get more maps that are hopefully going to play much better than the ones we have now, more updates to fix some of the horrendous design choices, in a few months' time, the game should be one of the best CODs to release in the past 5 years, and I still think even now, even with its problems, it's one of the better COD games. But it definitely could be a lot better. Let me know what you guys think about Black Ops 6's multiplayer down in the comments if you've played it. Is it good, or do you think it needs some work? If you enjoyed the video, or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more content. I also want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button, or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.